Welcome to Penguins and Scribble episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3. What's gonna happen in the third episode?
It's about finding the killer.
What the fuck? What kind of crazy shit is happening now? In the last episode, we were talking about love and demons and runaway spirits, and we were talking about kissing and shit. Why are we talking about the killer? What happened?
Because we are going to talk about a thriller manga today.
A murder mystery of some sorts?
Yes, it's a murder mystery. The manga is about like a guy on Discord. He recommended me this manga, and I say I'm going to cover it on my upcoming podcast. And that's like half a month ago.
How much do you pay for the commission? Just
Nothing.
kidding, we're not getting paid. No. We're getting fucking nothing from this podcast. No advertisers have come to us. We're not getting any contracts or anything. We're fucking poor. We're doing this on the streets. Please give us some money. We're hungry as shit. We're gonna die. We're stealing internet off of cafes. That's how we read the manga. That's how it happened. So what's the manga about? What's the name of the manga that we're talking about? It's not a Sorry, continue.
What? Are you going to say Toho?
It's not a Toho because the truth is, some of my friends are listening in on the podcast right now. They usually associate me with Toho stuff. It's not a Toho manga, so if you guys aren't, if you guys
I
are
associate you with Toho as well. Like in the in the early symposium, you talk about Toho a lot. I think you bring up Toho every episode.
Yes, every episode. As well, we do have Mosaics of Eastern Wonderland, which is a Toho Dojin podcast sort of thing. So yeah.
And then so this manga today we are going to talk about Route N.
Route N.
Yeah, R-O-U-T-E.
How do you never pronounce root properly? Route N.
Root. Plant root?
Root. Yes,
like
plant root. Plant root, yes. Roots, the end of the fucking root, which is all these tiny little hairs on it, so that it could absorb water better.
So we don't call it Root N? R-O-U-T.
Technically, it should be pronounced Root N.
Okay, fine.
Root N is a bit yeah.
Well, I prefer Root N. Screw English pronunciations. I always try to pronounce English according to the word.
So what's the context of Root N? Like maybe who's the author and stuff like that. Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know who the fucking author is. I did look up the author before, and he I think he has done like 2 one-shots, and
he's
then
only done one-shots.
Two one-shots.
And then Root N is the only one.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm on Mao right now. Let me check. Okay, so he has like a manga called Remain Bad. That's like 1 volume, 4 chapters. And then
very short.
When You Wish Upon a Star, which is like 1 volume, 4 chapters. And then
those are pretty short shit. The Root N is the only big
also
one.
pretty short. It's also pretty short. Like
54 chapters.
Yeah, 50,
was it 54 chapters?
55. Okay,
55.
According to Mao, 55
must
chapters,
be
but these are like bi-weekly. They are not even monthly.
Then so he finished this very quickly.
Yeah, on my first reading, I finished this in 1 sitting. What about you?
My first reading, I finished it in quite a 2 sittings. The first sitting, I ended it quickly because I wasn't very interested in it. I only read like a few chapters, and I was like, sure, I'm just gonna put it in the back burner for a bit. In the second sitting, I finished it all in 1 go because, of course, I wanted to get it done. But then I realized it was actually a very interesting manga, a very interesting thriller. Of course, there was the rereading.
Interesting.
The rereading was in 1 sitting.
So my first reading is 1 sitting, and the rereading is in 2 sitting.
Ooh, so we're opposites.
It's so damn short.
54 chapters, yeah, it's pretty fucking short.
Okay, so basically, the premise is there's this guy. He's called Sakura Haruno. Okay, no, it's Haruno. I'm supposed to bring a joke.
What?
You don't know who is Sakura Haruno?
No.
Okay.
I'm not as well versed in anime and manga as you fuck.
No, I think you are more well versed in shonen than me.
Sakura.
You're more well versed in
Who
shonen manga
the
than
fuck?
me. You don't know Sakura Haruno?
Sakura Haruno. I don't know. Why you?
It's that girl from Naruto.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't read Naruto, man. That was years ago. I didn't even finish it. I didn't even get like a quarter way into Naruto before I dropped the fucking thing.
It's Sakura. It's like one of the main characters.
I know Sakura, but I didn't know her last name. For fuck.
Okay, fine.
Jesus.
Okay, so the main character is a guy. He's not a guy girl.
Named Haruno. Not
He's
a girl.
a guy named Haruno. And he cleans up dead body for a living. Like, okay, so in Japan, there's a kind of service where if you like encounter dead body, you can call this service, and then they will come and clean up the body.
Of course, usually it's the police who talk about it because the police are the ones dealing with dead bodies, murder and stuff.
But yeah, the police can call them, but normal people can call them.
Yeah, it's a public service.
Yes.
Or is it? No, it's private technically. Private.
Yeah,
it is a business.
The business, the business is private, and then anyone can call them. Like because like there's kind of like it's very common for people to die alone in Japan. So this is how like normal people can encounter dead body in a apartment, and then they can call the people. They can call this service. In the manga, they call it special cleaning service. And when I try to look it up on Google, there isn't any term for this. There isn't even a Wikipedia page. Like
it might be a very specialized Japanese sort of thing. So
yeah,
maybe
I think it's a
even
Japanese
in
thing.
So maybe in general, a lot of people don't know about it or something like that. Who knows?
Like there is a Wikipedia page called like crime scene cleaner. This job, but I feel like it's kind of different from this one mainly because normal people can call them, and then they can come and clean it up. Yeah.
I see. Anyways, continue about.
Yeah. So
this
Root
Mr.
End
Haruno
is about this Haruno. He does this like special cleaning service for a living, and then he got involved in a murder case because his boss is also one of the victims of this murder case. So in this case, like the victims, they will be murdered and their body will be cut up and arranged in a letter called N. E-N-D.
Yes, in the E-N-D, in the word E-N-D. E-N-N-D. So that their bodies are all lined up in that way, which is pretty gruesome, I guess. It's a very gruesome manga, so it's not for the faint of heart.
And so his boss is the latest victim, like in the beginning of the manga, I think.
In the beginning, he was like the fifth victim, I think.
Yeah, he's the fifth victim. Like his boss is the fifth victim.
Yes, his boss dies in like the first or I forgot. It's the first or second chapter.
His boss died. Yeah, within the first or second chapter. Yes,
he dies. He's the fifth.
And then, so Haruno is the protagonist, but I say this is more of like ensemble because it splits the screen time among many different characters.
I mean, yeah, it is a screen time of many characters because I think the story isn't about how one person finds out about the killer, because Haruno doesn't. Spoiler: Haruno doesn't find the killer himself. Someone else finds the killer. But in the grand scheme of things, I think
everybody contributes.
Everybody contributes. The narrative is about who the killer is, why the killer did this, etc. It's not about one character and how he journeys to find the killer, to find revenge. That's not that kind of story. It's a murder mystery. It's all about the mystery.
It's like about this one big mystery, and then everyone involved in it. Everyone's trying to solve it.
Yes.
And then now I think that's it, and we can now talk about whether we recommend it. Then we go into the spoiler territory.
So who starts first?
Do you recommend it?
If you don't have a weak stomach, if you're okay with the slightly slow pacing of the beginning, in my opinion, it does become a very, very intriguing manga as you continue on. I wholeheartedly recommend it because it is such it's interesting. It has very good. I believe it has very good characters. I like the characters a lot. I like their dynamic. I like the art style isn't.
Okay, the art style is it's very ugly.
It's not really ugly, more so than it is extremely simple. It doesn't try to be very dynamic, but it doesn't have to be because the story isn't about that. The story is, again, it doesn't need to convey like, ooh, look at all these crazy looking framing and angles and stuff. Because it's more so a manga that's we're not reading the manga because of the art style. I think that's what I'm trying to say. We're reading the manga because of the mystery itself, because of the characters, because of the writing, not because of the art. So, if you're not there for art, again, this is an okay manga for you to go into. I still think it's great. The mystery is well constructed, in my opinion. Though, then again, I haven't read that much murder mystery, so it's a bit hard for me to...
Same. I didn't read a whole lot of murder mystery.
So it's a bit hard for us to give you a very specific recommendation. Because, we're not genre savvy in this kind of stuff. We're not genre savvy. But it is very entertaining, in my opinion. I like this manga. I recommend it. What about you?
Okay, so for me, first, I want to say the art. Yes, it's very ugly, and then the art's very ugly, but the paneling is not that bad, I say. And you say that we don't read it for the story and not for the art, but I believe that with the good art, if the art is actually good, it can help enhance the story.
It can help enhance the story.
You say it's very gruesome, but for me, I don't find gruesome because it's too ugly. Like they do cut up the dead bodies, and I was like, okay, so there's the dead body, and but it doesn't convince me. It doesn't convince me. And then, I say you really shouldn't try to get into this for the art. You just read this for the story, but at least they get the penguin right. There's a lot of I read comics for a few months ago, and I was like, suddenly I appreciate manga penguin a lot more. So I would say, at least it has good penguin in this one.
That's just good.
And then, I'm not very familiar with murder mystery or like mystery genre. Like I like the genre, but I didn't read a whole lot of it. I have like watched Higurashi back then, and then I was big into Sherlock Holmes. Let's just say I'm not a big fan. Let's just say I'm not very familiar with it, even though I say I like the genre.
I have the entire collection of Sherlock Holmes in my house right now. I have not finished reading it. Wow. Oh well. Like it's all collected in one huge fat motherfucker of a book. Humongous.
Is it like one big novel?
Yeah, one huge novel. Just a
I can
book
imagine
with,
it. I've seen it before in Popular.
Yeah, you should have seen it before. I bought it from a popular bookstore. Yeah.
Okay. And I also recommend this manga, and I don't know what to say. What to say without like spoiling it. I say it's very interesting.
You could just
I just say there's a lot of characters, but not a lot of the characters are interesting. But there's not everyone are interesting, but there are few that are like interesting, but not everyone.
Okay.
And then I just recommend it. I don't know what to say.
Oh well.
Holy shit.
Oh no! What do you feel about it? Do you feel good after reading it?
Yeah, I do enjoy reading it. I say it's the most interesting. Like even though we've only done 3 episodes, and I say this is the most interesting manga.
Oh, already this is the most interesting. Jesus.
Yeah, I say this is the most interesting manga. Yeah, like on the first read, I also find like, oh, okay, this is very interesting, and then on the second read, it's not as strong anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the themes. I like the themes and the message of the story, and how it just revolve around life and death.
Death and life and death, suicide.
Yeah, how it's revolve around life and death, and about suicide, and about how suicide affect people.
It's a very psychological story. It should also be noted.
It's a psychological thriller.
Ooh. Because it delves very deep into like the psychology of the people, of the characters, of the murderer, of how the murders might have been. I mean, of why the murders were done, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty spoilery territory at this point in time, so we're just. I guess we could shelve that for later.
I think we can now go into the spoiler territory, and now do the countdown.
Oh no! Spooky, scary! If you motherfuckers, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, better get the fuck out of here.
We're going to do the countdown. 5.
Oh no! 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Get the fuck out! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's weird.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So let's start with the spoilers. Where do we start? That's the problem, because we're of course everything here is like unscripted, so we don't really know where to start most of the time.
Well,
I think
we should say, like, if you still stay, I think we should say this before we do the countdown.
Yes.
Like, because if you didn't know anything about this manga, you might not understand what we are talking about, because there's so much mystery to it.
It's a lot of mystery.
We just review everything. We just review everything right now. So I'll start with...
Yeah, continue.
So I'll start reviewing the truth of what actually happened. So, the murderer is not really the murderer.
Dead! Oh my goodness!
So,
what is this?
The Haruno's brother is...
Haruno has a brother.
Yeah, Haruno has a brother. He's a character. And he's the murderer. Sort of. So he didn't actually murder those victims. Those victims actually killed themselves, and he just go and cut up their body and put them in the letter end.
It's more sort of a weird. How should I say? Can I even call it a fetish? It's not a sexual thing for him. He just likes.
It's not a sexual fetish, but he did it to like quell his anger at his mother.
Because Haruno's mother and his mother basically committed suicide.
Yeah, okay.
Before the start of the first chapter. Yeah, but technically before the start of the story, like the story at its present, it's a past sort of thing. It's a backstory thing.
Yeah. So right in the first chapter, like it's shown that Haruno's mother has suicide and it has affected Haruno. And then and later on, it will show us that how his mother's suicide has affected everyone, including his brother. And then this is it's partly like Haruno's suicide is what makes Haruno decide to pursue this career, and it's what makes his brother to become this kind of murderer. But he thinks,
even though he's not a murderer,
yeah, he thinks that he's not like doing a very terrible job. Because by making these victims, like by making it look like it's a work of a serial killer and people not knowing that it's a suicide, he thinks that the victim family will have a better life. Because he understands that the pain of having someone close to you who has suicide. So he doesn't want to let the victim's family know that people close to them has killed themselves.
It's a very odd kind of. He sounds like an anti-hero if you put it that way.
I say it's an anti-villain. He's an anti-villain.
Anti-villain. Let's call him anti-villain then, because he is trying to do this for the sake of other people. He sees the suffering of what happens when someone suicides in the family. He doesn't want other people to feel that.
Yes. He doesn't want. Yeah, he thinks he's doing a good service, and also, it's also partly to help himself because he cannot get over his anger with his own mother, and he think that by cutting up the dead body, he can quell his anger.
Oh my!
He still cannot get over it, and I think Haruno get over it. I don't think Haruno has get over it. It's not clear where.
Haruno seems to be, or at least Haruno seems to be dealing with it a lot better than his brother.
Well, I'm not sure. Like Haruno almost killed the murderer.
Oh.
Okay, so
doesn't he? Haruno.
Yeah. So go on.
I'm trying to remember other details about this.
So
I'm not really getting much of shit. This is what happens when I don't keep notes.
Haruno is also very angry, like also very angry that his mom has suicide, and then like throughout, and then up until now, it has affected him. Like he uses his anger to. I don't know how should I say, like he uses his anger to get through the situations. Like he wants to, like he very respect his boss very much, and then his boss has just been murdered.
Oops.
Like at the time, like before it's revealed that before there's a plot twist that the victims are actually suicide. Like so, when he found the murderer, and he wants to murder the murderer. Oh, at the time the murderer is like a mask, wearing the mask, and he's hard to almost want to kill him. So that he's using his anger to direct his action. To direct his action, let's say. And even after the murderer is caught, and then even after the murderer is caught, I feel like this side of him didn't really get fixed. Do you recall?
That's interesting. Do I recall what?
Do you recall that this side of him, this angry side of him, get fixed? Like I don't recall it.
I don't think so. I always thought his anger was justified, though. I mean, the killer killed his own fucking boss. I would have come to believe he has a sort of a indignation. He would have a sort of a stake in this murder case. Even in a part of the story, I think it's like 1/4 in the story, where the murderer, or at least what we thought was the murderer at the time, visits him and technically attacks him, I guess.
He wants, but the difference is like he's very ready to kill the murderer. He's not like trying
because
to
the murderer attacked his fucking family and killed his boss.
Oh, so okay.
I'm under the impression the anger is, in a sense, justified. So...
Okay, that might make sense.
Do you think the same?
But the people, like the story, the people, they think it's a problem for him. He can't control his anger.
I think it's a problem for him because of the fact that he's trying to fucking go against a serial killer. Who the fuck does that?
He's trying to what?
He's trying to find and kill a serial killer. Who does that?
Because the serial killer killed his boss.
Yes, but of course the problem is the anger and the idea that he's trying to kill the serial killer. It's a bit dangerous to be going against a serial killer in the first fucking place.
I say
so I guess that's where
also it's like his mother's suicide has affected him to be this way. But I don't. He
did become a very rebellious kid, I think, in one of the flashbacks.
Yes, he did.
We do see him become very rebellious.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
And then
yes, he did.
I see.
Yes.
Shall we talk about the real culprit, the true murderer? There's a true murderer in the story.
There is a true murderer, but that murder is only revealed at the very end of the story.
Yeah, like his brother revealed as the murderer it's revealed like only halfway through the story. Like only up until the end we know like the true murderer. So,
or at the very least, a true person who instigated the suicides, which is basically the murderer, I guess.
Yeah. So I say the true antagonist of the story is not really Haruno's brother. Instead it's a psychiatrist, which is like introduced early on.
It is a psychiatrist introduced early on, yes. I don't remember his name though.
Neither do I. Let's just
his name starts with an E.
No,
that's I remember. No. Let's call him the psychiatrist then.
No, wait. It's not psychiatrist. Therapist. I always mix it up. Sorry. It's a therapist.
It's a therapist.
The therapist is a true antagonist, and he's the true murderer. He's the one who makes the victims to suicide.
Yes,
like,
commit
suicide.
So
surely after Haruno's brother is revealed as the murderer, Haruno himself has gone into depression, and he visits the therapist because he know this therapist. And then during the counseling session, he realized that the therapist is trying to manipulate him into suicide, and that's how he figured it out. I think there's a suspicious thing going on, and then he
the problem, of course, is that he did. He does tell the police about it, but the police can't really do anything about it because there's no evidence at the time.
Yeah,
because it is noted that every one of the victims of the serial killer has gone to him, and as we all know, Haruno's brother only dismembered suicide victims, and all of the victims came to him for some sort of very well-needed therapy, or at least what they thought was well-needed therapy, only to then commit suicide, which is not something you should do if you go to a therapist and have a good session with him.
Yeah, it's very suspicious. It can raise suspicion, a lot of suspicion.
And it should be noted during the story, one of Haruno's friends who works in the company went to the therapist, and he himself commits suicide and dies.
Yeah,
which is why Haruno has such a huge high stake on it, because he realizes that, oh shit, I sent my friend to you to die. And, it's technically true, because it is later revealed that yes, the therapist likes the idea of telling people to commit suicide.
Yeah, the therapist, in a scene, I think it's right after Haruno left the counseling session, he just talked to himself, he said that he enjoys manipulating people to suicide. He thinks human side is very interesting. He thinks that human side can be played around with. He says so himself. There's no distinction between life and death. Human lives are expendable. Expendable. Which is why he does commit suicide. Does tell people to commit suicide. I like to think that the Haruno's brother is the elder god tier in the villain tier list. Haruno's brother is the elder god tier, and the therapist is the shit tier.
It's the shit tier because he has no actual very good motivation. It's just
he himself
I want to kill people.
Yeah, he just said he want to do it.
Which is a bit, it's a bit, bland of a motivation.
I say he's psychopath. Something tell me that
I think he's pretty sociopathic. He doesn't really. He manipulates people. He doesn't really care about the fact that they want to die. He wants them to die. You could say that.
He's curious about it. He's willing to sacrifice human life just to see how it all works.
Everyone's dead.
And then, that's 3 plot twists. So the first plot twist is Haruno's brother is the killer, and the second plot twist is the therapist. And there's a third plot twist.
And the third plot twist is one of the weirdest, if not the one that also makes people super confused.
Yeah, it comes out of left field. And people just got confused. Wait, this doesn't feel very natural. Because this story has
it is
very
supernatural. Grounded. There is a supernatural element in the story.
Yes.
It is the fact that how should I say it? Haruno's boss, whose name is Tachibana, or at the very least we all call him Tachibana in the story, has died 3 times. And yet he still lives. Because he cannot die. Here's the context. Haruno's brother did not kill any of the victims, except for Tachibana, 3 times. The first time was after was his first victim in a sense, but that was before the police even knew about it.
The first time he killed Tachibana is during his high school year, during the flashback.
During his high school year. During a flashback. That's why I call him his first victim, even though it's not his first victim as a serial killer. It's his first victim, just like in general.
Like
he doesn't like cut the body up or anything like that.
Victim in his high school.
In his entire history of killing people, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because the weirdest thing is, Tachibana is sort of the second time he kills Tachibana by killing his boss, basically Haruno's boss. Tachibana, for some reason, is Haruno's boss. And Haruno's brother, I guess, gets a bit disillusioned, realizing, what the fuck? I thought I killed you. I'm gonna kill you again. And stuff like that. Stuff happens.
It just freaks him out. Like he sees the same person again. It freaks him out, so he just killed Tachibana's boss. Like it's the exact same person.
The third time, he finds out Tachibana again, and he kidnaps him into the woods, tortures him, and then kills him. Because I guess, again, he's disillusioned by the idea of, again, how are you still alive? What the fuck? How do you still know me? I killed the other 2. Something like that. All this time, however, the police believe it's just a problem of there being triplets. Meaning, the police were under the impression that there were 3 Tachibanas, if only because the 3 of them were just triplet brothers.
Yeah, like
however, it is revealed in the story.
However, you go on.
However, later in the story, there's a 4th one after the 3rd one died, and one of the policemen come into contact with him, and the 4th one tells him, "Oh, here's what's up," and all that stuff. And technically, the 4th Tachibana is the one that is also the one that helps the police find out who the murderer is, which is what the quote-unquote murderer is.
The 4th Tachibana is the one who helped them to pinpoint Haruno's brother's location. And he's
whilst Haruno's brother is doing him. Yeah, whilst Haruno's brother is doing the murdering at the time.
Yeah.
Which is how they pin it on him. The 4th, however, it is then later revealed in the story that... No, not later, sorry. In I think the last chapter or something?
What, in the
chapter
last
54. Chapter? Or chapter 53 or chapter 54.
55?
Where...
54. I say it's 54.
Should be 54. 55 should be the epilogue or something like that. Chapter 54.
Yeah, 54. Chapter 54.
Where the so-called the quadruplet, the 4th Tachibana comes out and talks with the therapist. Because I guess he wants to confront the actual real murderer of the entire thing. And he does explain that he sees himself as a god or something like that. Although we could assume that there is a translation error and he's more a spirit or something like that. A Japanese concept, spirit, god.
Who are you talking to? Who is seeing themselves as god?
Because
Tachibana, he doesn't see himself as a god.
More like a spirit or something like that. I remember he says something like that in the last chapter. He sees himself as the supernatural element to the entire thing, or at the very least the. Oh no! It was a therapist who says he's a supernatural element.
The therapist, he thinks that Tachibana is a god, and he thinks that in a fictional story, Tachibana is a supernatural element that's meant to signify something. That's very meta.
What he signifies, it's a bit hard for me to say. I'm not very well versed in at the very least, analyzing root and it's in and of itself. However, it is a very interesting thing to think about as to why Tachibana does confront the therapist at the end of the story and then, in a sense, disappear.
Yeah, so, because after Haruno, he told the police to go investigate the therapist. And then the police doesn't know how to, deem him guilty and how to make the therapist be guilty of his action, and they're out of hand, and that is when Tachibana he steps in, and then he has a talk with the therapist, they have a very like something like deep philosophical talk, and then afterwards, Tachibana just killed him. He killed him so hard that the dead body's never found.
The dead body's never found, but there's a lot of blood, blah blah blah. Blood
there's a lot
on the walls.
But the
blood
dead body is never found, and then Tachibana, and then the murderer is never found. And we know it's Tachibana who did it, but we don't know how he. But he died after he killed. We don't know how he did it. Like, the dead body disappears, and then dead body disappears, and then Tachibana disappeared. Tachibana also
interesting
disappeared.
thing. Also, it should be noted. Tachibana also calls Haruno.
He calls
to,
Haruno
clean up the mess.
Yeah, he calls Haruno to clean up the
mess, which is a very interesting way of giving Haruno a bit of closure.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, because Haruno himself is totally sure that it is the therapist that killed everyone, in a sense, that did the suicides and stuff.
Everyone are sure of it. Everyone is sure, but like they don't know how to make him legally be. Yeah,
they don't have the they don't have good enough evidence.
Yeah, they don't have enough evidence. They don't have solid evidence. They know it's him.
But Tachibana's there going, don't worry, I'm a bro. I'll murder him for you. And he just dies. And after that, Tachibana just disappears. And Haruno's brother is, of course, convicted of just killing. I think he's only convicted of killing the triplets.
He's just convicted of 3 murders.
Of 3 murders, but the others are like, he just went in there and just defiled their bodies. I would come to believe there's a crime for that. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Like, if you, defile dead bodies, is there, a crime for that? I can't believe so, right?
They didn't say anything about this action of his.
Huh.
It's but a noble... It's a noble action, but, within the law, I don't know whether... How much, how will it affect the culprit? The perpetrator. But in the story, they didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. But there is a part in the story where, everyone is confronted. I mean, every of the victims' families or friends are told, oh, no, he didn't kill, the victims. The victims committed suicide, and he went in to, cut up the bodies and stuff. So, technically, they weren't murdered, they committed suicide.
Sorry?
What the fuck? You didn't hear me?
Did I? No. Did I just listen something wrong? Did you just say that the victims
were told at a certain point in the story, after the police find out that Haruno's brother did not murder the victims, except for the 3 Tachibanas, the police told the victims' families and friends that the victims were not murdered. The fuck? It was huge. It was Jesus Christ! It went on for a few pages.
But I remember there is a part shortly after Haruno's brother is captured, and then everyone just tried to point. Everyone just trying to say that the murderer is caught, and then we are happy, and then the murderer should be embarrassed, and then the murderer's family should be embarrassed, and then Haruno's brother's wife is being attacked in the hospital. They are trying to make him help responsible for it. Everybody just pointing
no, that was a lot. That was actually quite a little bit a little bit further forward in the story. After they find out he did not murder.
Yeah, after they find out he didn't go murder, and then you say that police go around and tell the victims.
Tell the victims.
Somehow I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't remember.
What the fuck? Okay, no, I thought that was one of the more memorable scenes, if only because of the fact that it is a part where it technically contradicts the entire narrative that everyone else in the story was imagining. They were all imagining that, Haruno was the killer. Haruno's brother was the killer. Haruno's brother was the killer. Was the killer. And of course, it was a very iconic scene when they realized that, he wasn't the killer. It was, they all committed suicide. Oh my goodness. Explosions. It was super cool. It's a pretty cool
So
scene,
then,
actually.
what is the reaction of the victim's family after they are being told that Haruno's brother?
I think I suppose they come to a very stark realization that I don't remember specifically. Some of them were, of course, like surprised. They were like, and some of them did have realizations that maybe they did. Maybe these victims did have a few sort of behaviors that might have meant that they may have been susceptible to suicide and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all I can remember too. Here I am saying, it's an iconic scene, only for me to go, I don't remember anything.
Okay, so
end route.
I think is there anything we have to say about? Is there anything more we have to say about the case?
Tachibana and the therapist is a very interesting case, in my opinion.
But that's in the final.
It was in the final chapter, the final talking to each other and stuff like that, because it does bring up the question of what has Tachibana been doing.
Well,
why does he kill the therapist and stuff like that? Because Tachibana, in truth, Tachibana has a fucking cult. That's what I've heard from a lot of people.
Yes, Tachibana has a cult.
Has a cult of some sort.
One of the suicide victim is the follower of Tachibana.
He calls him God, even though Tachibana's like, what the fuck? Don't call me God.
Tachibana doesn't like being called God.
Dad.
And he has followers because the followers know he cannot die.
He cannot die.
And
so
then,
they kill him as God.
In the end, like in the epilogue, like you remember when they say that Haruno's brother has gone missing after he...
Yes, this was after... Yeah, after he went out of jail.
Yeah,
and Haruno's brother for some reason
it's because Tachibana ordered his follower to bring him to meet him.
And that was how there's a new member of the cult. Oh my goodness!
And we just saw in the epilogue, we can understand this by looking at the drawings. Like there isn't any words for it. Like, it just shows the scenes of a car and then
it just shows the scene. Yeah.
A car and then someone bringing Haruno's brother to meet someone.
Yeah, it's basically visual storytelling in a sense.
Yeah, it was visual storytelling to convey that the Tachibana's follower bring him to meet Tachibana. And then we don't know what happens next afterwards.
We don't know what happens.
This is basically the ending for Haruno's brother. And I say it's a pretty good ending for him.
I suppose.
I don't think that Tachibana is that evil.
Tachibana doesn't feel very evil, actually.
Yeah,
I think that because if I remember correctly, even though Tachibana is by himself, sort of a god-ish sort of thing, he does, as he develops through the story, I guess, he does start to gain a lot of connections with people. He understands
he has a million
the values.
He looks like he has a
but he also understands the value of friendship and shit like that. Value of human life.
He started the service, the special thing. He started the business, and then he tries to hire the Haruno and the couple because he knows what they are struggling with. He tried to hire. He tried to give them a place. So he's a very good person, I say.
He's a very good person.
Yeah.
Which may be why he kills the therapist.
Yeah, because the therapist has no particular reason. Because the therapist doesn't... for murdering
No, not
people.
because he has no particular reason. Because the therapist doesn't really care for human life, which is very antithetical to Tachibana as a whole. Which is why he, I guess, in a sense, antagonizes him. Because here's one thing that he does before he kills the therapist. If I remember correctly, this is just me trying to remember things. I don't have notes. He does ask if the victims all committed suicide because of the therapist. Like, did you do it? Or some shit like that. Do you like people committing suicide? Or something like that. And the therapist does give a positive answer in terms of I did that. I like suicide. Which is where Tachibana then, of course, I guess decides to kill the therapist. Because
I'm currently at manga decks right now, and then
that what happens?
I think what you're trying to ask is like that scene, like he asks,
hey, you do suicides, right?
He asked where he did
Yes.
his he asked the therapist like where did this obsession of manipulating people to suicide. He asked him where this obsession come from, and then the therapist say he didn't have any origin for this obsession, and then he proceeded to say the concept of life never existed for him, and that is when we show the next scene is like Tachibana nod his head and he say bravo, and then we saw an empty chair, and then the next thing is like Haruno's getting a phone call from Tachibana that there's a murder scene from in the therapist clinic. Yeah,
Oh
I think
no,
that's what
the
you're trying
therapist
to
is
refer to.
dead. Yeah, that part.
He's dead.
That affirmation before Tachibana goes, okay, I'm gonna kill you now. Die.
Yeah. So, is there anything we can say more about the case? The truth of the case?
I feel like there's more. Like in terms of like, how do we talk about the flashbacks of the characters, the psychology of the characters?
Case.
But
I think there's a different
yeah,
case.
no.
Before we talk about the characters, let's just continue about the case. Like, is there anything we can talk about the case, and then we can move on to the characters.
I don't know what else to talk about the case. Let me try and think. What else can we talk about in terms of? We've covered nearly everything.
So shall we talk about the
mask killer? Everything that was intriguing.
Shall we talk about the mask killer?
The mask killer, yes. From what I can recall, the mask killer is actually the third Tachibana. Or at least the one that assaults Haruno and Haruno's brother. Because as we all know, Haruno is the serial killer. So who is this masked guy who calls himself the serial killer? Who is he?
So
a lot of people say it's just Tachibana.
Yes, it is Tachibana.
It is Tachibana.
It is the third Tachibana. Like it's shown in the story. Like,
but of course, there's a question of why did he do it?
Oh, yeah, good questions. So why did?
If I remember correctly, someone did give their opinion on the idea that maybe he did this because he's trying to tell Haruno's brother that the police are on him. He better be careful. And he's just doing it to like get people off of Haruno's brother's trail at the time. Okay, I don't really understand the argument though. So
like why? So Tachibana he knows the killer. He knows about Haruno's brother's action all the time, but he doesn't. He only reveals it until after like the 6th or 7th victim, and that's like he tells the police that there's a murder going on. Like only until the 6th or 7th victim. So why now? And then
that's a good question. I don't really know as well.
And then there's also other questions which I forgot to find out. Like, how does the detective, the woman, how does the woman she figure out that the quote unquote murderer is Haruno's brother? Before he sees Haruno's brother's face, he knows it's Haruno's brother.
That I don't know. It could just be her.
Yeah, that's like 2 questions that we didn't think about until in this recording. Yeah.
We could suppose it's just there to make it dramatic or something like that. A dramatic reveal. Because during that part of the story where she finds out who the killer is, she says Haruno first. And we all know that Haruno is, of course, the main character. We all associate the name Haruno with our main character.
Yeah.
However, it should be noted that Haruno is not his first name, of course. Haruno is his surname. So there was always that idea that, oh my goodness, Haruno. But we know Haruno's somewhere else.
Oh, so you think...
So the other Haruno is his brother.
Okay, so
Haruno's brother is the murderer.
So yeah, we can say that scene is trying to set it up like it's a big plot twist, a big reveal.
It's a big plot twist. Like, oh my god, it's Haruno. No, it's not Haruno.
It's Haruno or Haruno's brother. But How did she figure it out? How did she figure it out?
That's another good question, because it's not. I don't think it's really explained in the story, or maybe it is, or maybe she had ideas, but it's not like told to us, like explicitly. Maybe she just thinks about it herself, or it could just be something we forgot. Maybe she did explain later on how she thought, how she realized.
Somehow we missed it. We miss it.
Could be either we missed it or we just didn't take notes. I don't take notes. You take notes. I don't know.
I take notes, but I don't remember. But I didn't write it down.
Poor boy.
I miss it. And then.
Oh, poor boy.
Yeah, and then about the Tachibana, he's not. He doesn't intervene in the murder case up until like several victims saying. That's when he starts to intervene. I think that I think he only intervened so late is because he actually approve Haruno's brother's action.
Yes.
I say he
because remember when Haruno killed him for the first time, he did say that he, I guess, forgives him. Tachibana, that is. When Tachibana is killed by Haruno's brother for the first time.
Yeah,
are we talking about the same thing?
I think Haruno's brother murdered him for the first time. He said he forgives him.
He forgives him.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's some sort of compassion in him to go, okay, you know what? How about I let Haruno's brother do this for a bit? I don't know. And when he assaults Haruno and Haruno's brother as the fake serial killer, his message might have been to Haruno's brother to go, okay, I think it's time for you to stop. You're getting a bit carried away here. Something like that. But of course, Haruno's brother keeps going with the victims. Which is where, of course, he then tells the police, look, here's what's going to happen. Go and capture said person. Ta-da! I don't know. I think that's what the narrative here might be about.
That might make sense, actually. The one you say might make sense, actually.
It might make sense. The idea of Tachibana at first being complacent, because he's, Haruno's brother's gone through a lot of shit. So, of course, he's going to be a bit tolerant. But as he goes on, he goes, okay, let me help you by making the police a bit confused so that you can have some time to calm down. But he doesn't calm down. He continues, and thus he has to, I guess, quote-unquote, punish Haruno's brother, in a sense, by letting the police find out where he is. That's just my theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
Okay, now
we're all dying.
I think we can talk about the characters now. At this point.
What the fuck do we talk about the characters?
I think the character is the best part of the story.
Yeah, the characters are the best part, but they're not really... There's nothing too special. There are a lot of things that make them what they are, in a sense, because they try to be a bit realistic.
So the characters, like I say, it's an ensemble cast. So that means there's a hell lot of characters, and then most of them doesn't matter. And then I write down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7 characters that is relevant, and the other can just go fuck off.
Wow. No, don't fuck them.
Yeah, for me, there's only 7 relevant characters. So, okay, my problem with, I think is like a problem with this manga is like, a lot of them doesn't really, especially the police, like they don't really matter in the story. Police. And they just too not stand out. They don't stand out at all.
No, so the problem is, the police aren't really there to stand out, in my opinion. Because this is me trying to be a bit murder mystery trope-ish, or something like that. I'm trying to talk about what I believe is a trope in the murder mystery. It's the idea that the police are not there to be standout characters. I feel like they never have been, unless the story is about a single policeman.
Why do the manga introduce the characters in every volume? In the first page, they introduce the characters, every police...
Because of course we have to know who the fuck the police are if we're following the police. It's standard for that to be the case. If we're following these characters, we of course have to introduce these characters. However, they're not really there to always be standout. Some of the police are pretty. The police portrayal in the story is pretty okay. They do present themselves as very smart, but they are of course confused by who this killer is.
Apparently, the smartest is the woman. I think
woman empowerment. Yeah.
I think they make it that the smartest one is the woman of everybody.
If only because she's the most standout one, so of course she has had some impact in the story.
I think she stands out the most because she's like the only woman in the story. Or the only woman in the police. There are a few other women in the story. No, not in the story. In the police. In the police team.
If I remember correctly, I think there's another woman, or maybe it could just be her friend in another job. I don't know.
My personal fourth plot twist, I like to call it, because I cannot tell she's a woman. Now my first reading, I cannot tell. Like, on the first reading,
what the fuck?
Okay, let me explain. Okay, I was already.
How is that possible?
Because she doesn't look
like a woman. She wears women's clothes.
She doesn't.
What the fuck?
No,
what?
She didn't wear women's clothes. What the hell?
How?
The police.
No.
The police
how is that possible? What the fuck? I'm so confused. I don't know if I could trust you anymore in identifying between a man and a woman.
How can you tell she's a woman? I cannot tell she's a woman.
Just by her hair, how her eyes look. In the sense like there's a very specific way.
She looks like one of the police.
So did you just think she was a guy with a ponytail?
Do you think she has a ponytail?
I thought she had, or at least like buns or something like that.
I'm talking about the main
I remember
woman,
she ties her hair.
I'm not talking about the main woman, okay? I'm not talking about Harm's love interest. I'm talking about there's another woman.
Who?
Do you know there are actually two women in the team?
Yes, there's another woman. You mean the couple?
What?
You mean the couple?
Couple? Okay, wait. Okay, so wait, let me lay this down.
Who the fuck's the other girl?
Okay. There are two women in the police squad, and I like to make fun of it by saying there's only one woman. So that one of the women, like we can tell that she is a woman because she has a ponytail, and then she's introduced early on, and she's like one of the main characters. Yes. And the story has to set up like she and Haruno liked each other. So I can tell that she's a woman. And then there's a second one. The second one, I didn't know she exists. Like the first time I was reading it, I didn't know the first time I was reading, like, I didn't remember her like anybody else, any of the police. I don't remember her until that in one scene she told the police that she's together with the main police woman. Like, and then I think they approached the chief police, and then she said that both of us are feeble women, so we need a gun. And I was like, what?
Oh,
both
that. Yeah. No, she was a fucking girl. How did you never realize? Now I remember.
I don't realize.
She was a girl.
I don't realize. Only after
What's wrong with you?
Only after that scene, I realized, holy shit, she's a woman. I thought she's a guy.
Maybe it's maybe it could be because she's not drawn with.
She's not
I guess like noticeable.
Like, again, I say that the manga is fucking ugly, and then the manga is fucking ugly, and then I cannot tell. It's so ugly that I cannot tell that a woman is actually supposed to be a woman. And then this woman.
Are you sure you don't know what a woman? No, nothing. I'm sorry.
And then I don't think that. And on my second read, I don't think that she actually appeared anywhere else other than that scene. I only remember her in that scene, and then afterwards, I don't think she ever appeared again.
Oh me, oh my! So she's more of a side-ish character.
Just
she's
like every other police,
a bit, but just disappears.
Just like every other police. If you tell me that, I don't remember most of the police.
The police aren't there to be remembered. The police are there to drive home the narrative, the mystery. Because here's the idea. We have these policemen. They may not look very very standoutish. They're not very unique. However, they're police. They're where you can get the most information out of the murder mystery itself, because they're the ones investigating the mystery. They're the ones who collect all the information, which is where the readers of this murder mystery will always look for the parts with the police to listen to, so that they know more about the mystery. However,
so
the police are. No, here's.
Wait.
I'm trying to argue it in terms of like what is their purpose, not how good are they as characters. What is their purpose in the story? Their purpose is there to perpetrate the idea.
Doing it 8 police. Okay, I'm counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Doing it 11 police to reveal the information of the murderer. Doing it that much harder to constantly feed us information about the case.
There is, I guess, a need to at the very least understand that this is a big case, and as we have seen multiple times, they have like pretty big meetings about the case. I would come to believe a lot of these policemen are, of course, put into different, different purposes. Maybe this police group or police pair look into this information. This one look into that information. There's also the fact that, of course, if we have this many police, they of course will have to be what was the word? Patrolling multiple places. It can't be that we can just follow 2 policemen. They're not going to patrol everywhere, and suddenly, of course, always be there when there's a murder. In a sense, there's also the idea that there is some police dynamic in the story, I guess.
But it's clear, in the story they also try to give the story character development, and then and it ends up that the main policewoman is the only one I kind of sort of care about. But the story tries to give like the police character development. And then the first reading, I don't remember any of them. The second reading, I can remember some of the character development, but I still think they are they are still very forgettable. So I remember there's an old boomer. He just like very lazy in his work, and he just smoke all the time. And the policewoman hate him because he is quite incompetent with his work. And then we are not sure that whether he's disinterested with the case or he wants to quit or something. And then in the end, in chapter 54, after they clean up the therapist clinic, he just he's being assigned to do office work. And that's the end of his story. And then there is a very young police. I think it's always paired up with this boomer. And he looks like a boomer? Yeah, I like to call him boomer. Because he's like very old. Boomer, man. He's very old. And he just keeps...
It's basically a junior and a senior, in a sense. That's their dynamic.
Yeah, but there's a very, very clear age gap between this young guy and this boomer. This young guy, he looks like he's a newbie. And then I don't remember what he did except for get knocked out in the forest. He get knocked out in the forest. That's all I remember.
Oh well.
And then there's another old guy. I won't call him a boomer. But he's quite old. He's the one who has connection with. He has a connection with Tachibana. He has connection with Tachibana. Yeah. He established a connection with Tachibana. And then Tachibana tells him that the Harun's brother is in this house, and then this old police guy, he goes and tells the chief police that we shall send police force to that location. And he also has a partner, and the partner's younger than him. And then I think that's their role in the story, which is that to have connection with Tachibana. And then after the death of the therapist and after his body is cleaned up, the police, they say they want to open a new case, which is to investigate the therapist's murder. And then this old policeman, he tells his young partner, that we shouldn't dabble in this case because Tachibana is a weird guy. It's a weird guy, and then we will never ever able to solve this case because Tachibana is so fucking weird and so fucking strange. And then they just walk away.
And they walk away. They say goodbye to the case
let me think.
of the Tachibana.
Oh, okay, there's a subplot. there's a subplot that doesn't go anywhere, I think. And there's a subplot that, like, they think there's a traitor among the police. And then...
there was the subplot.
Yeah, there's a very, very short subplot. And then I think, like, it's solved...
it does go somewhere. It gets solved very quickly, though.
Is that even related?
Yeah, it was really... It was when the old guy meets up with the fourth Tachibana. Because remember, how does he know where to meet?
Not that one.
What?
Okay, so before that...
There's another one? The fuck?
Okay, before... I'm talking about that subplot where... Like, 3 police, they share secrets among themselves that there is a traitor among them. I'm talking about this subplot.
Yeah, isn't that connected, though?
But it doesn't look like
because think about
connected.
Because think about it. How does that quote-unquote boomer know where the fourth Tachibana is? He gets it from the information from another policeman who was, I guess, like, smuggling in information to Tachibana, to the fourth Tachibana.
No, that's in the boomer.
Remember that?
Okay, no, that isn't
that
the
was
boomer.
Another guy.
It's not the boomer.
Fuck off!
The boomer is incompetent.
The other boomer! The one who meets the fourth Tachibana.
That's the guy I referred to, like, in the end, he tells his partner that we shouldn't dabble in the case. That's him.
Are we even talking about the same fucking thing?
Yes, we are. Okay, so we tried to say... Let's say there's Boomer A and Boomer B. Okay, Boomer A is...
Who's the lazy boomer?
The lazy boomer is Boomer A. And we don't care about him. Right. He doesn't contribute to the case at all. And Boomer B, he is the one who has connection with Tachibana. Mm-hmm. Now he's the one who figured out that there's a fat detective who is like smuggle information to Tachibana.
Yes, isn't that the traitor?
Is he? Okay. Because he doesn't look like a traitor to me. Maybe he is.
He doesn't need to look like a fucking traitor. He is smuggling information.
Okay, fine. Okay then, maybe he's the traitor. Okay, so Boomer B is the one who actually contributes to the case, and he has a partner. And when Tachibana reveals the location of the murderer to Boomer B, and then Boomer B also aware of Tachibana's weirdness, and he's the one who tells his partner that we shouldn't dabble in the therapist murder case in the end.
I don't really know whether or not he knows
about
Tachibana's weirdness. What constitutes his weirdness?
He thinks Tachibana is very mysterious.
Well, that's fine enough, I guess. He feels that, there's something very deep going on with Tachibana. That's not...
Yeah, he thinks Tachibana is very mysterious, so he shouldn't... He told his partner that they shouldn't dabble in the case.
Yeah, they shouldn't dabble in the case because it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, he thinks it's not going to go anywhere. And he thinks that the case is soft. So he just like tell his partner to go. Let's go away.
Let's go find some other shitty job to do.
Yeah, he's like, let's go do another better job. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's see. And then other than that, I think everyone else, any other police that didn't mention by me are playing unmemorable. Maybe they shouldn't exist in the story. Hello?
I think they all should exist in the story. If only because of the one purpose of, increasing the mystery.
Increasing the mystery?
Increasing the mystery. Because again, they're policemen. They should know about the mystery the most. But if for some reason, if they don't know who the killer is, if they continue saying, how do we find the killer? We don't know any killers. We don't know of any leads to the killer. That perpetrates the murder mystery feeling in the entire story. That's what I think their purpose is at best.
Okay, so their role is to further the mystery, and then they are supposed to have character development.
I don't really know whether or not they're always supposed to have character development. I suppose they can have character development in terms of how they realize the mystery.
Boomer A clearly has a character arc. Boomer A clearly has a character arc.
The character arc of being, stop being lazy.
Yeah, that's his whole character arc. and then in the end he gets assigned to do office work.
Oof. Gets assigned a shitty job.
I don't even know why. I don't even know why the Boomer A he's so like lazy. Like, why does he so lazy? Why does he want to help? I don't really know why.
Is he perhaps a criticism of Boomer laziness? Ooh.
What?
I don't know.
Oh.
Criticize Boomer laziness.
Oh, we cannot really say that because Boomer B is very helpful. That was a joke. Boomer B is very helpful.
I was making a fucking joke.
Okay.
We could have assumed, oh, there's maybe two kinds of boomers: the good boomers and the shitty, lazy ass boomers. I don't know. I'm pulling things out of my fucking ass.
Okay, then so there is only one relevant police, which is the policewoman, the main policewoman
who is
because she
has as he did.
She has a character arc too, and it gets resolved like somewhere else.
Yeah, and she of course has a backstory. Ooh.
Which is a character arc.
The backstory is
her character arc. Her character arc. I just say his. It shall be her.
I think you said the character arc.
Her character arc.
But I was confused.
She has a character arc. Yeah. So
character arc.
Her character arc is that, well, her brother is suicide. I think her brother is also visited the therapist, the same therapist. I think it's also mentioned that.
I think it was mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, and then I see.
And then he pew and died.
She is also like I think she also cannot get over that her brother has suicide, and then it gets resolved when she met a doctor who looks like her brother.
Yeah, but it's not her brother. Remember, only Tachibana's the one who revives. No one else does.
Yeah, like that just is like plain coincidence. It's like just like they just look alike and that's it. Isn't really.
They look alike.
Oh wait, it's implied. It's implied they are twins.
It is implied, but it never goes anywhere. It's more or less just a small theory.
Yeah, it's implied they are blood-related twins. That's why they look similar.
Yeah. Which is actually very interesting because remember, throughout the story, everyone thought the Tachibanas were triplets, that they were related. That's why they look so similar.
Yeah, like everyone.
We could assume that this psychiatrist, it's a psychiatrist if I remember correctly, not a therapist. That this psychiatrist. Are you referring to the murderer? Not the murderer. The brother lookalike.
Oh, the brother lookalike. He's psychiatrist.
Yeah.
He's a psychiatrist. Yeah.
Yeah, the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I feel like the psychiatrist's appearance is there to confuse the reader into thinking, okay, so we have another case of people who look like each other, who may be twins, who knows? So does that mean the Tachibanas are triplets? Could it be something else? I mean, look, the psychiatrist doesn't know about the policewoman's brother, who looks like him. Remember, the woman's brother looks like him. And of course, he doesn't know. And the Tachibanas never talk about each other, in a sense, quote unquote, in a sense. They never talk about each other. So it almost seems as if they don't know they have triplets, again. So it's almost like a very parallel to each other, narrative-wise. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. You sound like... Okay, let me try to explain. So, you're trying to say, like, the fact that there's this twin brother is, like, parallel to the plot that Tachibana is a triplet.
Yes, because they seem almost very similar in terms of, like...
I don't think...
Just the idea.
For me, I don't think they
Then why would it be there?
Because the policewoman need to have a character arc. For me, that's just it.
But the character arc doesn't serve anything to the story.
What?
Because the idea has always... the idea in the story is
important.
About...
Like, the character arc is important to the theme of the story. It doesn't even... it's not like it's not relevant to the case. But it's not relevant to the main case, but it's relevant to the theme of the story.
The theme of the story.
The theme of the story is about suicide and life. And death.
And closure.
Closure?
And closure.
You think the theme is closure? Okay.
There is a part of the theme that can be closure.
Okay, yeah. And suicide and life, death.
Suicide, life, death.
Only suicide. It's a big theme.
But I don't know. It's very odd though that the idea of the two being could be. Sorry, that was a very weird way of saying it. That the two could be twins, even though it's not answered, and the idea that at the same time everyone thinks the Tachibanas are triplets. It's very coincidental.
You think it's very coincidental. Okay.
Coincidental. So I thought maybe there was some sort of link, like a narrative link, or at the very least, a way for the writer of the story to like confuse the readers into continuing to think that maybe this is about triplets or some shit like that, about something like that, some sibling sort of thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
Then again, that doesn't add anything to the story as well, because the Tachibanas technically aren't triplets; they're all the same person.
Well, it's because that this subplot is basically it's just her own character arc, and it's get resolved early. It's get resolved the moment she met the psychiatrist, and they have a nice talk. And the moment they have a nice little talk, that her character arc is basically over.
Oh well. Over. It's over, you fools.
Yeah, and then by the way, it's also I think it's also mentioned that she also feels anger, just like Haruno. Because
anger, I thought it was sad. I thought she was more inherently sad about the fact that her brother
because like there's one page
gone.
Because like they talk about on the car when she and Haruno talk about. I think Haruno first he told her about how his mom died and how it affected him, and he said that he always felt anger. Use anger to protect himself. And then the woman, she says that she's glad that she's not the only one to feel that. So maybe she's also very angry. She also felt angry.
In the story, she's always been very sad, though.
Sorry?
I don't know, in the story she's always been very sad about the fact that her brothers committed suicide, though.
Because you cannot get over it. Just like everybody else.
Suicide. Just like everybody else. Suicide. Oh, I can't, That's a very interesting thing, though. If they can't find closure in suicide, would murder victims find closure once they find the murderer? That makes sense, right?
Whoa, that's like deep tongue.
The deep tongue. Because think about it. You would be sad that your friend died to a murderer. You want the murderer caught so that the death of your friend can find closure. If the murderer is caught, and if it indeed was a murder, you will feel very relieved that, oh yay, your dead friend has found justice because, the murderer was caught and the murderer is now going to be, I guess, subject to punishment. But if it's a suicide, how will you ever find closure in that?
We wonder why my friend is suicide. Is that it? Like we cannot find closure because we don't know why our friend has suicide.
We might not know why our friend committed suicide. And there may be questions of why did they consider suicide rather than some other way of helping themselves.
Sorry? Why did they consider suicide?
Suicide, there are other ways of helping yourself. Why did you consider suicide?
And that's the source of how we cannot find the closure? Is that what you want to say?
Something like that. I mean, think about it. The effect of the suicide has haunted
everybody
Haruno,
else. Everybody else in
brother.
the story. Everybody in the story, basically. All the important characters. Like
something
let's
like
see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I write there's 7 relevant characters in the story, and the 7th character is a therapist, so fuck him. So basically, all the 6 characters, they're all affected by suicide, very badly.
Remember, Haruno's father is also affected by the suicide.
Haruno's
He's traumatized by it.
Almost suicide. He almost hanged himself.
Almost killed his own self, but he was like, nah, that's not.
I cannot do it. He just said he cannot do it. But he almost suicide.
I can't. He almost committed suicide. It's a pretty sad. I suppose now you can see that there is that theme.
Sorry?
There's that theme of closure.
So the closure as in...
There's that
Closure as in... They cannot... Can you explain what do you mean by closure?
I suppose it's the idea of accepting... Accepting the death of your friend? That's a pretty weird way of saying it. Accepting death.
Let's see. So, because... Like, Haruno and his brother, they always repeat throughout the story. They always repeat that, they always repeat that, why do you have to kill yourself? Do you not love us? They always ask their mom.
I suppose suicide does bring up that question though. Why did you leave us?
Yeah, why did you leave us?
It doesn't.
Why did you leave us?
Why would you leave us? Were we not enough? What did you not see in us? What did you want from us that we could not give? Which is why you committed suicide. That's something. Because it does. I in a sense, suicide does bring up a lot of questions. Something like that. A lot of internal conflict. Because we do bring ourselves to question the idea of what did we do wrong? Who did you wrong? All those questions.
Yeah.
Which the person who committed suicide cannot answer because they're fucking dead. Whoops.
Oh, could you repeat? Because the Discord is fucking up your voice just now.
Discord fucked up my voice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Could you repeat?
I don't even know what the hell I said. I just said it out from my ass and I just forgot everything.
Okay. Damn it.
The recording might as well have picked that up, so I welcome the people who are listening to this who will hear what I'm saying.
Okay, let's see. So, just talk about closures, and then how suicide affect the people. And then...
Actually, now that I think of it, did Haruno and Haruno's brother ever read the...
Sherlock Holmes?
Her suicide message. Their mother's suicide message.
They did.
Did they? I thought it was only Haruno's brother. And maybe his father... I think his father hid it away or something.
Wait. I think Haruno's brother and Haruno's father read it.
Haruno never did.
Haruno never did.
However, when...
And then... Oh, there's one scene that Haruno's brother, he almost want to stab his father. He almost want to stab his
own father.
And that one, I'm kind of confused.
Might be some sort of internal conflict that I guess it's a bit hard for us to talk about.
What if it's like this?
Because I'm a bit confused
too. So he wants to, he's so angry. He's very angry, and he wants to murder his father, and he cannot do it. So he runs away, and then he saw a naked guy, which is Tachibana, and then he just directed his anger at Tachibana, and that's how.
That sounds like the most no context thing you've ever said. He just meets a naked guy and he just kills him. Okay. Let's not put him in public showers ever again, please.
Oh, okay. Isn't that so? That's not how it happens.
No, that is how it happens. He sees a guy in the woods. I suppose he still wants to kill. He still wants to kill someone. I think to just get rid of all that pent up anger in him. He sees a guy in the woods. For some reason, the guy's naked. He just goes, I'll just kill him. Ha! Stabs a knife into him, and Tachibana's... And Tachibana's like, yep, fuck it. I forgive you.
I'm trying to
Very
find the
interesting
story.
that he died.
I'm trying to find... I'm trying to find a page right now. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? I remember that's how it actually happens.
Yeah, that's how it fucking happened. Sees a guy in the woods, he's like, might as well kill him.
But I don't try to make it sound like stupid. I remember, it just... It
is a bit preposterous, because I don't know why Tachibana is fucking naked. Is this the first time Tachibana existed? I don't know.
Tachibana happens to be in the forest.
But for some reason he's naked. Where's his clothes?
Because every time he die, every time he revive, he's naked. He say that.
So in a sense, he revived just now before Haruno's brother found him.
Yeah. It's just a coincidence that when he revived, he encountered.
When he revived, that is the saddest respawn ever. What is this? He died at respawn. Fuck.
Well, he can revive again.
Sad.
He
does revive again.
Time.
Whoops.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Who shall we talk about? We talk about the female detective. Haruno.
I have nothing to talk about Haruno. I don't know what to talk about Haruno. I feel like.
What?
I feel like there's almost no mystery to him that we can talk deeply about.
Well, I have problem with Haruno's depression. Because like this. Haruno
says the guy who said he got fucking depression from comic books.
What?
You don't have any idea what. Remember when you said you had depression? I was so fucking scared, and you just come to me and go, "Oh, it's just."
Oh, okay.
I just don't feel good. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, you piece of shit?"
I think that's two different things. I did feel uncomfortable reading this manga, but it's not because of depression. It's because of the suicidal thing.
I was fine.
Oh, but that's another story. I'll talk about it later. Okay, so I want to say, sure. Haruno's depression. So he has depression because his brother is the one. He has depression because his brother is the killer. And so he visited the therapist. And then when he visited the therapist, that's when he figured out that the therapist is the true murderer.
Oh no.
And then afterwards, his depression is just gone. When he figured it out, his depression is just gone.
More so, it's not depression for his brother. The depression has changed to his realization that, oh shit, my brother isn't the killer. You're the killer. Because the depression comes from the fact that his brother has become like this, has become a sort of a murderer-esque figure. But once he finds out who the real murderer is, that's when he puts all of his depression points into anger points. Anger against the therapist.
But he didn't try to murder the therapist.
I don't know. I guess he had some integrity at the time. Or maybe he just thought, okay, the police will handle you. The police will be the one to bring you to justice. And my brother will be, I guess, cleared of some things. Does it make sense to you?
No. How is capturing the therapist going to clear his brother's name?
It at the very least points the blame to the therapist. It also gives him closure that, okay, legally, they have found out that he is the one who caused everyone to commit suicide. Therefore, I don't feel as bad knowing that my brother was the quote-unquote murderer, because he wasn't the murderer. He only murdered 3 other people. He didn't murder all of these people and my friend and my boss. Oh no, he did murder his boss, technically.
Oh yeah, by the way.
It's more or less like pushing the blame to someone else. The therapist murdered his friend. Did we not talk about this? We did talk about this, right?
We didn't.
We did say it. No, we did say that Haruno did refer his friend to the therapist. Yeah. Which is why his friend committed suicide.
Yeah, well, we haven't talked about his friend's character arc.
His friend's character arc is a bit weird. In my opinion.
His friend's character arc is a bit weird?
In my opinion.
Okay.
No, the context of it is very sad. That's one thing I can understand.
I can say his character arc is a very, very bad ending, because the resolution to his character arc is he died. Because he's being manipulated.
He's dead.
He's being manipulated to suicide.
Oh. Guys. It's a pretty sad ending.
Yeah, but at least his wife, his girlfriend, move on.
His girlfriend has moved on. His girlfriend actually goes to the psychiatrist. The person who looks like the policewoman's brother.
Yeah, he went to the.
At the end of the story, yeah.
He went to the. Why did he go to visit the psychiatrist again? Oh yeah, he's. I think she went there. I think she's depressed.
She's depressed because of the fact that her boyfriend's dead. So now he's sad.
Was it that?
Wasn't it? She almost committed suicide herself.
Yeah, but okay,
she almost jumped off the building before one of the Tachibanas came.
Before she tries to jump down the building, has she visited the psychiatrist?
She did not visit the psychiatrist.
Oh,
everything was all internalized before she tried to commit suicide. She didn't look for help at the time.
So when did he visit the psychiatrist? I recall that happened.
It was later in the story, actually. Quite a lot later in the story.
What did she
I think it was after the...
What did she want to...
I don't know. I think she was just there to, get help. Like, oh, she's still sad. A lot of things happened in her life. She might as well get help.
Really? I thought that she's... after, when she tried to jump off the building and Tachibana saves her. And then afterwards, she visits his boyfriend's parents, and then his boyfriend's parents thank her, and then she feels a bit better. She felt a bit better, and then when she went home, she encountered her friend, which made her feel a little bit more better, and that's the end of her character arc.
She does still go to the therapist, though. I remember this. I remember seeing her
she did.
Not the therapist, not the serial killer therapist. Sorry, the psychiatrist, the good guy, the good psychiatrist guy.
I forgot. You're right. I also remember she visited the psychiatrist, but I don't remember why she did it.
The psychiatrist, bro. I don't remember why she did it as well. I kind of believe it's just a general, I seek betterment of myself. That's what I think.
I'm trying to find that. I cannot find it. Fuck that shit. Okay.
Oh well.
Anyway, the wife's... Okay, her character arc is basically she cannot give birth to children.
So she's sad.
Yeah, because she's born that she cannot give birth to children, and then it bothers her. She tried to bottle it up, and then tried to put up a fake head that she's fine with it, but she's actually not. And then when she met her boyfriend, and she thinks, and then she and the boyfriend are dating, she is happy because she thinks that she can give life, quote unquote give life. Because when a woman's giving birth is considered giving life, so when she can make this guy happy, it's giving this guy life, because this guy is very depressed after his family died.
Yes, the boyfriend, the guy who...
The boyfriend, his family died. His whole family died caused by him. They are in the car, they're involved in a car accident where he doesn't drive carefully, so he got involved in the accident, and then his whole family died. Yeah, he got depressed, and then then she thought that by helping him, yeah, she gave him life, and then when his boyfriend suicide,
she's sad.
She's sad. She thinks that she can give life again. She's reminded of her own disability again. That's why she wants to suicide.
But Tachibana comes to the rescue. The third or fourth Tachibana comes to the rescue.
Fourth. It's the fourth Tachibana. The fourth Tachibana comes to the rescue, and then tells. The fourth Tachibana just tells her that Go meet your boyfriend's family parents. They want to meet you.
Yeah, go get some closure.
Just go meet them, and then that's when the parent thank her, and that's when she thinks this is like basically giving her confidence again that she can in fact give life, and because the parents has been telling her that my son has been calling us ever since he got a new girlfriend. Has started to call us ever since he got a new girlfriend, and then we thank you for keeping him company all this time. And then okay, that's the resolution of the character arc.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah,
but it's also very sad and tragic.
It's a complete character arc, I say. I like it. And then
I suppose it's not a good ending, but it is a ending that gives
it's a good ending.
Closure
it's a good ending.
to her character.
It's a good ending. It's a closure to a character arc. At least she didn't suicide. She almost suicide.
It was close.
It's like she can move on. She can move on with her life, content that. Yeah, she can make people. She can make people happy. She doesn't need to give birth. She doesn't need to
make people
having the ability to give birth to make people happy. Yeah. And then
it's good.
Let's see. Is there anyone we can talk about?
I don't know.
Wait. Is
there anyone we can talk about?
The scene where she met the psychiatrist.
What does she say?
Let's see.
What can you remember? What can you forget?
Yeah, what did she feed her? Actually. Okay, here's the information. I feel like I've heard the this coming. Do you know about? I just feel so. Okay, so she met a psychiatrist because she said. She said she didn't say sad. She say I just feel so overwhelmed with this emotion of mine. And then they talk about the end case.
Did they talk about the end case?
Okay, I'll give up.
The podcast is slowed down.
Yeah, it's slowed down. I was slowing it down, so I'm gonna go into this. And then afterwards, let's see. Yeah, so the best part of this manga for me is basically these different characters, their character arc. The woman, this girlfriend, and then her boyfriend who has suicide, and then the female detective, and Haruno, and the killer. Everyone's their character arc, how suicide affected them, and how suicide affected everybody. What are you trying to say?
Mm-hmm. They're all great characters. That's what I'm trying to say. They're all great.
And then,
woohoo!
Yeah. I don't think I have anything more to say.
I have nothing else to fucking say too.
Okay.
No.
By the way, about suicide. Do you ever have a suicidal thought?
No. I've never had suicidal thoughts. If only because I have told myself at a very young age, for some reason, don't ask me how I know suicide that young, that, suicide isn't the answer. Suicide makes people sad. Therefore, I will never commit suicide. I'll go and look for help.
Oh.
Because suicide is not the best answer. There are a lot of better answers out there.
So, I have suicidal thought before.
So,
that is why, when I first read this, I was a bit uncomfortable.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm very much fine.
Okay, that's good.
But it's a fact that I used to have suicidal thought. So reading this, I was like, holy shit, this manga is basically pushing that. You better don't have suicidal thought. Look at this, all these people who are being Like a lot of these people like who suicide and then they cause all the mystery around the people. This is how I interpret this manga. Like basically,
I see.
Like everybody who.
So it's an anti-suicide PSA.
PSA?
Don't suicide. You know, public service announcement.
Oh.
Yes, public service announcement.
So you say this? Okay.
Basically, information. This is a
anti-suicide manga.
That's pretty fucked up. The anti-suicide manga. Yes. Don't suicide, else your body's gonna be fucking disemboweled by a serial killer guy.
The serial killer, he's also
a guy who wants to.
He's also affected by suicide.
But he's not yeah. Don't suicide, or else your kid will become a serial killer guy who disembodies suicide victims. Oh no. This is the best anti-suicide manga in the world. You cannot tell me otherwise. Because after reading this, I feel like I will never commit suicide because I don't want to make any more serial killers.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, I think after reading this, maybe I really shouldn't think about suicide in the future.
Or else you're gonna turn me into a serial killer. My friend's dead. Therefore, I need to kill people.
Okay, do you have anyone around you who have suicide in real life?
I haven't had anyone who suicided in real life. I've heard people who have suicided from friends.
Oh, okay.
I have friends who have suicidal thoughts, and I'm trying to help them.
You have friends who have suicidal thought?
Suicidal
you
thoughts.
You have friends
yes.
who did like who?
Yes.
Aside from me.
What the fuck? I'm not comfortable discussing it right now.
But okay, so is it still happening? Is it current?
Yes, it's a current thing.
Okay. I just not press it for you.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, there's something very close to you who has actually suicide actually happened. Very close to you.
Was it in one of the clubs back in university?
Yeah, the club.
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, like one of the members.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
Like there was
yeah, it is a very big topic.
Was
when we heard about it.
Very. You haven't joined the club at the time.
It was before It was before I joined the club.
Yeah.
I have been told about this by the club members.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Okay.
I was very much surprised.
What do you expect? It's a J-pop club. Nobody fucking
because
respects the
none of
club.
us. I think. Well, I'm not that close to the person, but I'm not that close to the person. And then for me, it's very. I really don't see it coming. And then I have people people. I have a friend, like one of the member. She isn't as close to him as well. She said that, well, she is already suspecting it because she thinks that he's too happy every time.
Too happy. So he's faking it.
Yeah, she thinks that he's faking it.
He's faking happiness.
Yeah. And then
that's pretty sad.
The people who are closer to him see it coming. They say they see it coming. Yeah. And then, I think that's a very bad note to end this podcast.
It is a bad note to end. No, it's more or less just a sad note to end. But it should be understood. Yes, suicide bad. If you have suicidal thoughts, please find help. Call a suicide hotline. Tell your family. If your family doesn't fucking care, just go for a suicide hotline.
What the hell?
You need help. Suicide is not a good fucking answer. I mean, yeah, sure, there's all the jokes of, there's a big problem. Commit suicide! Please don't think of them as actual advice. Please. Those are just jokes. Suicide is not funny once you realize, yes, it is a fucking danger to your friends, to you, if you have suicidal thoughts. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to say.
That's all I have to say.
That that suicide is so sudden.
What do you want to say?
I didn't get to have closure with him, even though we are not that close. But
suicide is sudden. Sometimes you don't even know the exact reason why they committed suicide. sometimes you ask yourself, why did they commit suicide when I was there? Did I not do enough? Something like that.
Well, I didn't ask those questions. I didn't ask those like why like why, like I said, like why I was there. Yeah, like I just think that.
I see.
Well, like we still have like ongoing, like something like ongoing conflict of sort with him. Yeah. So and then when he suicide, so we can already solve it.
You caused it to commit. No,
and then, but like, sorry. But he's gone now. So, well, it's never going to end. You know, it's like a story. It's like a story that get cancelled. A manga that get cancelled.
A story that never ends.
Yeah,
it only ends in the mind.
We get to see the ending.
That's pretty sad.
Well, I have to be honest. Like, it doesn't hit me very hard because we aren't.
Because you didn't know him. Because you didn't know him that close.
Because we aren't all that close.
If you did, of course, you would have more stakes in his suicide. So of course you're gonna be a lot sadder.
Yeah, I can say that. So I think we can end here.
Yep, let's end here.
And then let's just say I like this episode. I like this manga. In this episode, I think this manga is interesting, and I think this podcast is this episode is well structured. Let's say it doesn't like jump around too much.
It doesn't jump. Yeah, that's very good. It doesn't jump around too much. It's not confusing.
But I don't know. Yeah, not confusing. I don't know whether what we talk about will confuse people who have not read it.
People who have not read it will, of course, just stop at the spoilerless discussion.
But have you ever continue even after the spoiler alert, spoiler warning in YouTube video?
Usually,
I did it a lot.
There are times where I have, but there are also times where I just don't even watch the video because I haven't read the thing yet. So because I'm not gonna be interested.
For me, I did it a lot of times. Yeah.
Oh, spoilers.
So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was thinking like from a perspective of someone who didn't read this manga, and then if they like try to go into it despite not reading it, I want to like read it and understand what we're talking about, the stories with all the mysteries and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's end it here.
Read this manga. If you actually haven't read it, read this manga. It's pretty cool. And then
pretty cool.
Look forward to the next episode.
Of Pencils and Scribbles.
Yes.
Panels and Scribbles. Pencils and Scribbles.
What?
Shit. I said pencils and scribbles. Panels. I'm so fucking retarded. It's panels. It's not pencils. Panels and scribbles.
Pencils.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Pencils. Pencils and Sharpies.
I'll close it. Goodbye.
That'll be. Yep.
See you next time.
Oh. Yeah. Bye, guys. Yeah. Ooh. We disappeared.